Thank you, Karen. It's a great pleasure for me on this last day. What do we got now? Less than 3 hours. To share the stage not only with Karen Hale, who has made the job of chair much easier. I've had the privilege of being your chair under two people that are very important in my life, Rob Miller first, and then Karen Hale. And I couldn't have asked for a better supporting cast than those two. And also, when Kathy Snyder is with us, I call her the lady from the north. When Al and Kathy Snyder come to Salt Lake, along with that Cache Valley, Cache County group, it just makes our party better every time they're involved. So I want to spend a few moments today to just talk about our future and where we've been a little bit. 6 years ago, not long before this date, a slightly younger, 6 years, slightly slimmer version of this body came to this podium to ask for your vote and your support. Today, I simply want to ask you to let me give you my deepest gratitude for letting me be your chair and sharing your lives with this party and my family. And I will say now that this is an opportunity to thank them. For the first part of my life, I was Bonnie's boy. And for a while, I was Wayne Jr., still am a little bit, although technically I'm not that. But my father was such a giant in the labor movement in this state that they had to call me something. Now, all of you called me a few things too at times, but some of them good, some of them not so good. But I was Wayne Jr., and I am proud that I am the son of my parents, because I'm here today with you, because they instilled in me a deep passion and caring for what this nation is and what our communities are. And after that, lately I have become Katie Holland's husband and Nick Holland's dad, and I'm also very proud to wear those labels. Without family, as we all know, everything is more difficult, and the things we care about don't matter as much. So to my family, I say thank you, and I love you. A little breath here. It has been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve in this position. 6 years as chair has been, at times, seems to be an eternity, and at times it seems to be yesterday. But the joys and the memories I'll have, and friendships with each and every one of you and throughout the state, I will cherish for the rest of my life. 2 days ago, I did an interview. Some of you saw it in the paper today, the Trib. And there's some things that didn't show up that I'm not sure I was going to share, but I was asked two questions. What is the one thing probably people don't know that you were able to do as chair that you're most pleased with? And I thought about that, and I remembered one thing. After President Obama was elected as president-elect, November of 2008, the University of Utah football team was also storming through the country. And they ended up in the Sugar Bowl. And they beat the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide. So we were rooting for red on that day. And then the inaugural committee called and said, we need a Utah entry into the inaugural parade. And actually it was Katie again who said, what about, we had got a kick out of the whole Sugar Bowl experience, had many people in our home that day, including Jay Siegmiller, who had just beaten the Speaker of the House, the Speaker Slayer. And his family, Michelle and Jay, travel with the team often. They're in South Bend and they're all over. But we had a great time, and so we decided we are going to get the University of Utah Marching Band into the inaugural parade. And that was a cool experience. Not many people know, but it's one of those things that behind the scenes, and talking with Michael Young, people at the university, as proud as we were of both the president and our great youths, it was a great moment. And then I was also asked, is there a funny moment during the time you were chair? And I'm not sure I should say this, but I'm going to. I was invited to attend the CNN debate of all the candidates, the Democratic candidates in Las Vegas. And at the time, my wife and I decided we would go down. And we had another young lady at the state party office, Tracy Van Wagner, running our Utah Common Values program. Should I say it, Karen, or not? She's saying yeah. And we were on the left side of the audience. And as the debate went on, Joe Biden was kind of stealing the show. Now, I'm rooting for that senator from Illinois, and they're all in the race at the time, but Joe Biden's closest to us, and he is funny that day, and he's humorous. So after the debate ends, Tracy, Katie on both sides of me, we walk towards the podium, the line's going from left to right, and Joe Biden, who everybody knows is not without opinion, and he's not somebody as timid a voice either, looks at me, he looks at the two of them, he kind of gives me a funny look, and I said, Utah. The soon-to-be vice president laughed so hard I thought I was going to have to answer to CNN about what we said to the senator. It is a moment that I will remember, and 2 times since I know that the vice president is quite a card, but we gave him a good laugh that day, and he'll never forget our state. So today, we decide on new officers for our party, and I move on. I know that you will make wise decisions, you always have. And we begin to reorganize our party for the 2012 battles. Less than 31 months ago, we celebrated President-elect Barack Obama carrying Salt Lake County, Summit County, and Grand County in this state. And you were there. Many in this room were not alive the last time that happened for a presidential candidate from the Democratic Party in this state. But you were there and you helped make it happen. And not only that, many of you joined over 800 Utahns who traveled on weekends to Colorado and Nevada to knock on over 100,000 doors to help carry those states for our great president. And you were there then, and I know we'll be there again, because I will say clearly, without any doubt, in 2012 we will have many great battles. And a strong presidential campaign helps us every time. Look at what it did in 2008. Consider the Supreme Court. Look at the faces, see the faces. Because there is simply nothing more important in November of 2012 and from this day to that day than the re-election of President Barack Obama. And so I want to end with a couple comments and one thought. I've often been asked in the last year or so, especially when you're the Democratic chair at national meetings from Utah, they say, really, it's got to be a little tough. So I tell the county party chairs all the time, you don't know what it's like in the counties. Come with me to Washington. I think the same way about us here that you think about the state. But I do know this. I've traveled this state. I've been in 27 of the 29 counties recently, in the last 3 years. And I've been asked the question, and I say the answer is this, because this debate matters. The debate matters about who we are and what our nation will be, not only as 50 states, but as every community and every city and town across our great land. Why does that debate matter? Because on the other side, we see a different story. I don't know what they're putting in that tea lately, but it ain't good stuff. I do know what we believe in. I had two quotes, and Karen quoted one of them because Hubert Humphrey was also a hero of mine. And there's one other that I think speaks directly to the heart of why we do what we do and who we are. And this one's from President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who said this: "The test of our progress is not what we add to those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little." Today, in this country, the Republican Party unabashedly and unashamedly lobbies for more for those who have much. And we must be there on the other side of that issue to assure that our nation stays true to our values and takes care of those people that Hubert Humphrey talked about, and Franklin Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy, and Barack Obama. And I know that the tides again change. We see it now. They have quite an assortment of potential candidates in their party. I'm trying to figure out which one's taking more crazy pills than the other. But I think they're very symbolic of what we see in Speaker Boehner, Senator McConnell, Vic Cantor, I always forget his first name, Eric Cantor. Thank you all. And as I watch them unabashedly lobby to protect the tax breaks for those who fly around the country and the world in their private jets, and for oil companies whose profits exceed millions of dollars every single minute of the day, I know that we must take the debate to every neighborhood, to every part of our state, and to every part of this country. So for me, many of you know, I will be returning from whence I came. 2004, I traveled the western battleground states for our nominee, and I will be doing that again. And I will be back here often. I will not be leaving. I will be traveling a lot. And I know that all of you will be there because we are a team. And every single thing about that team, everything we care about and those values that Roosevelt and Humphrey made so clear, is why we do what we do every single day. And what better team could we have than this team? The working families of this country whose blood and sweat build the middle class and do what they do. To the labor movement, I know they're always there, and that's the team I want to be on, because that team's also with those in this country that want to protect our communities and make them safe and healthy for our children, and our caucuses show what those folks are about. And our party is full of the most dedicated people to human rights and civil rights. It's the only place that can be found. So those who fight every single day for equality are on our team. And teachers who sacrifice every single day to make sure our most treasured resource becomes our most valuable part of the future are on our team. And many others are on our team. You're here today. Across this country we'll be joined. And with that team, I say to you today, delegates, how can we lose? Let's go win this thing, and let's win it big. Thank you very much for a great 6 years.